Hello. Don't know if anybody's about. Don't know whether you can hear me. We'll have to check on that. Or obviously we'll check on that. Let's have a look. Oh, we have a delay for some reason. Let's have a look. Ah, there we are. We are live. What I need to do, obviously, is turn that down, otherwise you'll hear me 50 times, which is ridiculous. You know that. Past experience. Oh! That one? That's that one. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do with that. We'll get rid of that. We don't need it. Okay, so I thought I'd take a quick flight up to Glasgow. In the Airbus. I haven't flown the Airbus for quite some time. I flew it last night, had a nice trip. But there's a couple of things I want to show you before we really get going. I mean, I could ostensibly, no, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do this. Better pushback. We'll pre-plan the pushback. It's runway 12 out of Cardiff tonight. Better pushback has had an update, and as you can see, the update is, well, I don't know. I never know what updates have happened with Better Pushback, but what they've done is they've clearly kind of put this, they've extended the lateral line through the aircraft. So previously it was just green to the front, but now you've got red to the rear as well. And why they've done that, I don't know. But anyway, that and there's probably all stuff under the hood, as they say. That is
round to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
All stuff, you know, under the hood in the background that we really can't see. Let me just turn this down a bit. I think there we go. I mean, I want you to hear the aircraft, but also to hear me. So you need to let me know. So have a quick look here. There's nobody watching at the moment. Oh yes, there is. There's 3 people watching. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. You know, let me know what's happening. Say hello. Where is Glasgow? Glasgow is in Scotland. Just in case you don't know. Within the United Kingdom. Anyway, I've answered that question, and it is Sarah Everard Gaming. Yeah. Okay. Right. So there's a couple of things I want to show you. The first one being something that pops up this afternoon called Sim Radar. Now, this is it. It's quite nice actually. It's a bit like VAT Sim Radar or VAT glasses. There's loads of them that you can use, but this is Sim Radar. I'm not on the network, so I'm not on VATSIM, but this is all the VATSIM traffic, and you know, it's quite nice. It shows you all the sectors, airports where there's ATC, so if I can zoom into Gatwick, we've got Gatwick ground on, and that's about it. Coventry. Well, I've never seen ATC at Coventry Airport before, and Manchester Airport, of course, you've got Tower on. Yeah, but you can see like all the airports that are online and sectors that are manned. This is Scottish. Aberdeen International's on Edinburgh Airport, and so on the Glasgow ground at Glasgow and Glasgow Presswick as well. So this is quite nice. It's quite quick as well. It's what you know, a thin application. Oh, you can't see it. I just realised. No, then why can't you see it? This causes me an issue here, because I'm talking about it, and you can't see it on screen. Or maybe you can. Yes, of course you can. There you go. I'm looking at the feed, and the feed was way behind what we're actually seeing. Yeah, you can see it okay, that's no problem. Oh, Sarah, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you. Very rare that I get tips, but thank you for that one. I really do appreciate that. Anyway, So going back to what I was saying, this is really quite neat. You can look at activity. There's all sorts of things here. At the moment, there's 1,594 pilots on the VATSIM network and 98 controllers and 5 supervisors. Airports, routes. You can pick out routes on this, aircraft controllers. It's really nice. I like it because it's what we call a thin application, so it doesn't take up too much space or time. And unlike VAT glasses or VATSIM radar, where it refreshes fairly slowly, this refreshes quite quickly apparently. So that's one thing. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is something that I saw this morning, and this is called X-Dispatch. Right, so just loading up here now, I think. Oh no, it's failed for some reason. It's failed because I've already got it open. So this is X-Dispatch. Now this, I really like. This is, how can I describe it? It's everything, right? So it's radar. You can search for airports, you can search for flight plan. I can load my flight plan from SimBrief. I'm going to fetch my flight plan from SimBrief, fetch latest, fetching flight plan. There is the flight plan, Cardiff to Glasgow, and I really like this. It's very detailed in all sorts of respects. I haven't messed around with this at all. I don't need to, you can import the flight plan into your aircraft, yeah? I don't need to do that because I've already done this earlier. It's got aircraft details up here, Speedbird 2302, call sign, blah blah blah. Shows me my cruise, top of climb, cruise, and then top of descent, block fuel, payload, everything. And I can view a full OFP, which is operational flight plan. And there we are, there's the operational flight plan. I like this. Somebody said, when I came across this morning, someone said, well, what's the difference between this and SimBrief? There is a lot of difference between this and SimBrief, believe me. I think this is, well, it's really quite modern. It looks really nice, yeah. It's, you know, I mean, look at that. You've got the whole globe on there. You've got all these different layers. You've got airports. You can have land airports, seaplane bases, heliports, custom scenery. This is very much, I was going to say, it's kind of similar to what is in MSFS when you go to pick an airport. You know, you can zoom right in and just pick an airport, and you could load up at that airport. Yeah, it's really quite remarkable. Now, I did have it in the nighttime orientation, which seems to have. I can't find it anymore. I've had it on nighttime, and it looks a lot better at night than day, if you understand me. See if I can find it again. To be under the layers, you can have day night, but that just shows you where the night begins and the day finishes. So it's not that. Oh dear. I've lost it. Terrain shading I've got on, range rings. Is it under setting, maybe? Ah, it could be. Appearance. Map style. No, that's not it. X-plane. Yeah, that's where my X-plane is. It's nav data. 3,632 custom airports and 35,262 global airports. Appearance. Limited. No, that's not it. Dark matter. That might have been it. Let's have a look. Yeah, so that's a bit darker. No. SimBrief. Import flight plan. So there's the flight plan across the top there. And it should show up on here. It's not showing up, but look. I just zoomed into the airport and look at that. I mean, this is really cool stuff. It really is cool. I really like it. There's my aircraft there in blue. I mean, it just looks so good, and I haven't figured it all out yet. I really haven't. Why can't I get my flight plan in? Sim brief. Oh. That, I'd rather have it the other way, which is north orientated. That's, well, we'll figure that out. But isn't this cool, huh? I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. If only I could get it back to the way it was. So there is a lot here, and there's a lot to figure out. Look at that at the bottom there. So we've got the wind, 170 at 8 knots, outside temperature 12 degrees centigrade, altitude 212 feet. Brilliant. I love it. I really do. That's not orientation, is it? No. I have no idea what that little thing is there. Anyway, this is lovely, and I think you need to have a look at this in the future for flight planning, for all sorts of things. Really, really neat. I like it. I like it a lot. You zoom into the airport and you've got everything there. Let's have a look at Heathrow. Have a look at Heathrow. Where's Heathrow? Goodness sake, Southampton. Alright, here we go, Heathrow. Whoa, look at that. All the stands, everything, the taxiways. Although unfortunately taxiways have haven't got their names on. But yeah, you could probably get your way out of there, no problem at all, couldn't you? Okay, we like that. We like that a lot. Alright, so I think we need to get going, don't we? So I called for better push back, did connect.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Tow is driving up, so we'll get out of here and do this little flight a minute. But once again, better pushback is brilliant, but sometimes, unfortunately, the pushback truck is always kind of outside somewhere or on the side of the building. Just one of those things you've got to ignore, really. It's a fact of life that cannot be ignored. Just one of those things, isn't it? Okay, so let's get back here. What's happening? Still a couple of people watching. Please say hello. Let me know who you are. If you want to have a chat about something, ask me any questions about X-Plane. I'll try and answer them. If I don't know the answer, I will find out. But today we're in the Airbus. This will be a bit of a...
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
We'll see if we can get this out of here and not cause too many problems. One thing I'd like to know is how do I sound? Do I sound okay? And can you hear the aircraft? So let me know what my readability is. Can you hear the aircraft? Is everything okay? And also let me know where you're watching from as well. Where are you watching from? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Okay. Somebody asked me, people always ask me, how do you move your camera around like that? I move it because all my cameras are on my hat switch. I use X camera. Okay, maybe I'm loud and maybe a tad loud for the sim, slightly muted mic. Alright, bear with me. Sort that out. Right, over here, so turn that down and turn that up. Let me turn this down in here. Turn the master down. How's that? So you should be able to hear me okay. Now let me know. I've turned the sim down. I've turned mine up. Belarus and Denmark as well. Nice. Yeah, whatever. Alright, let's see where we're at now. Better push back, start push back.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback and you may start engines.
Okay. Engine 2 is starting. That's better. Thank you, Niels. It's always nice when people use their real name. Dylan. If I turn off the battery but keep the torch on in the cockpit, does the pilot get tired faster from holding it? Well, depends if you've got weak, spindly arms, I guess. If you have, then you're in trouble. So we're pushing back from stand, and we're going to taxi down to runway 12. I need to take my shoes off so I can get my feet on the rudder pedals. I've never been able to use rudder pedals with my shoes on. Never, ever. Okay. Just wait for engine 2 to stabilise. That's a perennial question as well. Why do you start with engine 2? Which is the right-hand engine if you're sat in the cockpit. Something to do with actually the way that we walk and drive down roads and what have you. It's one of those weird things from many years ago. Don't ask. Okay, let's start engine 1. You might hear the PTO. Dylan, if you have to ask that question, then you're an idiot. This is not the PMDG 737. Need the beacon on and get the strobe on as well.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Okay, we'll put a squawk code in, even though I'm not online. TARA. Oh, I'm sorry. If you're new to the hobby, then yeah, it's an Airbus. Okay, there's a heck of a difference between the PMDG 737 and the Airbus in the way that they look. Go on Google, do a search for images of those cockpits, and you'll see what I mean.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Really will. One of the things I always forget, but I am getting better, is I tend to forget to put the chrono on, but not today. Get it right. Take off and taxi. We don't need the APU anymore, so we can turn that off. I think we're good to taxi. What do you reckon? Let's see. Can we get some power going? Let's see. The problem being now, of course, you won't hear it from the outside. Whoops-a-daisy. Turn that up a bit now. I don't know how many of you saw the interview that Torsten did with Blue Experience. It's on the Toliss Facebook group. If you get a chance, watch it, because it's absolutely brilliant. Torsten, who is the developer of the Toliss Airbus fleet, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely brilliant interview. So interesting. And I will say that, in my estimation, Torsten is a genius. really, really, really clever guy. Some of the stuff that he was talking about, absolutely fantastic. Very, very clever. So auto brake to max. Cabin check. Thing the cabin, and we'll do takeoff config when we get to the hold down here. I am friends with a couple of people from Toliss. Torsten, I know Torsten, and his wife Juliana. I wouldn't say I'm friends, but I know them, we converse, and Torsten and Juliana, I've supported my channel over the years as a reviewer, and I beta tested nearly all of their aircraft. The only one I didn't beta test was the 340, but I beta tested all of the others. The 340, I think, but I can't remember why. I was asked if I wanted to test it, but I didn't. I don't know who Matthew is. I can't say that I've come across a worse developer. I mean, what do you mean, worst developer? It's rather ambiguous. So I need to set my trim to, I think it was there. No, it wasn't. It was there. Okay. So we'll go for the backtrack. There is a developer, and I'm not going to say what his name is. Not in this simulator. In the other simulator, and he said some very unkind things some years ago about X-Plane, and he did say some very unkind things about X-Plane. He did develop an aircraft for X-Plane, and it didn't do very well commercially. And that was because he made a mistake. He chose the wrong aircraft to develop, and it didn't do very well commercially. And this was X-Plane 10, I believe. Yeah, X-Plane 10, maybe X-Plane 11, I can't remember. And he like I say, he said some unkind things, and that was it, really. In terms of quality, I'm not going to say that I haven't come across a bad developer. What I have come across is developers who, at the beginning of the developing career, have developed aircraft which I would not review because they were not ready for review. And I've said, and I've been very clear about that. I'm an independent reviewer. You know, if people give me the stuff to review, then I am totally independent, and I will say exactly what I think. But this one particular aircraft, I couldn't review it. And I got in touch with the developer, and I said, it's a long way off. You know, when it's a little bit closer to what I would consider when it gets a little bit closer to what I consider, you know, a finished product, then I would review it. But until then, and I felt that was fair, because I didn't want him to, you know, I didn't want to put out a review that would have been unfair. Plain and simple. That was it. Okay, here we go. Let me just clear the different tiers. An add-on at $100 will offer more than an add-on at $40. Of course, yeah, Niels has got it right, exactly. But even so, Niels, a $40 app can still be very, very good for what it is, you know. Like I say, I'm not going to say. There's just no need for me to say. Alright, here we go. Flex set, SRS blue, runway blue. Let's go. Let's try and keep that sense of line. It's a long time since I've flown Airbus. I flew last night. I did a test sector down to Nice. V1. Rotate. Gear up. Not too shabby. Nose a little bit high. Oops, that's not what I want. That's what I want. Let's go AP1. It gives me a chance to keep chattering away. I mean, if you really wanted to find out, you could find out, so, but you're not going to find out from me. Let's put it that way. I'm not in that game. But certainly, yeah. Alright, so, thrust climb, or climb thrust. I always think that that's the wrong way around, you know, it says thrust climb, it should be climb thrust, who knows. Anyway, as I say, not too shabby departure. Weather out at Cardiff was absolutely beautiful this evening, really, really nice. Right, there's a few people watching. Once again, please say hello, just pop your name into the chat, stay where you're from, say hello, I'll give you a shout out. I mean, when it comes to Airbus, there's nothing better than a Toliss aircraft, really, really isn't. Okay, let's go flaps up. Spoilers disarmed. Marvellous. 5,000 feet. I think my cruise, if I recall, is 26,000. So we might as well go up to that now. 26. You might be right. You might be wrong. $6,000 feet coming up, we were going to standard, and of course I forgot to turn on the chrono, didn't I? Always happens. There we go. So we're a couple of minutes add on at the end of the flight. 6,000 feet, standard. Let's have a look outside. There we are. A bit hazy. As we come over Cardiff Bay, there's Cardiff Bay, right on the nose of the aircraft. Go to open climb. You see it there on the nav display, primary flight display, sorry, open climb, climbing to altitude. It's only going to be a short flight up to Glasgow, but yeah, I think, you know, it's quite nice. Any questions about X-Plane or whatever, please put them in the chats. Say hello. Let me know what's happening and where you're at, so to speak. I'm gonna disappear in a moment because I'm going. My dog is in the garden. I need to bring him in. Yes, hello, Dylan. We got you. Got you. So, one of the reasons why I haven't flown Airbus for a while is because I've been flying the Zebo mod. I've been testing that along with Nico de Bruin and Dougal McTavish and a number of other people as well. When I say testing, those of us who have the beta, you know, we'll mess around with that. I forgot to put my landing lights on. Never mind. Wing lights are on. Taxi lights are off. We release the passengers. And I'm at 9,700 feet, so as I go 10,000, I'll have to turn them off anyway. Cypriot 77, hello Captain, have a nice flight. Cypriot, are you from Cyprus? I wonder. I hope everything is okay. If you are from Cyprus, I hope everything's okay and you know you're safe and well. I'm sure you will be. Okay, so 10,000 feet, landing lights off. Retract them. Oops. Wing lights off, we don't need them on, and the logo is off anyway. In that case, Cypriot 77, Kalispera. And Daxi? Bismillah. I lived in Greece, I lived in Corfu for... How long did I live there for? I lived in Corfu for 2 years when I was a little bit younger, in my youth, when I was a DJ. I lived in Corfu, in Ipsos, and when I went to Corfu, because I'm an old person, I was in Corfu 1979 to 1981, and not many people spoke English then. My boss did, my Greek boss, the owner of the club and restaurant that I worked at. He spoke English, but very, very poorly. And so I had to learn Greek. Quite literally, I had to learn Greek. So I used to go to the bus station in Corfu town and read all the bus signs for all the destinations. Okay, let's go to manage climb. But unfortunately, I've lost a lot of my Greek. I mean, I had good conversational Greek. I can still order things, like I can go to a restaurant and order stuff in Greek. And yeah, a language I love, and Spanish as well. I speak a bit of Spanish. Yes, Dylan, I lived in Corfu for 2 years. A place called Ipsos. And Daxi. Yeah, I live in Cardiff, but originally I'm from Bolton in Lancashire, and I've lived in Cardiff since 1981. When I came back from Corfu, I stopped off in Cardiff to visit people that I'd worked with in Corfu, and I was only staying for the weekend, and I never got out. I'm still here. All these years later, met my wife, brought up a family, got grandchildren. Yeah, and that is life. That's how life goes sometimes. Life is full of pathways, yeah? My description. Life is full of pathways. And we're on one path. And then suddenly you can go down another path that you didn't know that you were going to go down. You had no inkling of. But you go down that path and that takes you on a different path. A different kind of life. Black Knight, good afternoon. How are you? Good evening. What time is it now? 6 o'clock. Good evening. How are you? Yeah. Weather at Glasgow. 180, 18 gusting to 31 knots. Wow, brilliant. So I could take either runway, but I'm going to go 23. Broken at 3,700. Temperatures 11, QNH is 1003, 13 gusting to 22 knots on 23. Well, this is going to be a bit spicy, isn't it? It's going to be a bit spicy, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I mean, that's what life's about, isn't it? So, here we are. Excuse me. Why does the plane say standard? You mean here? Because I'm on standard barometric pressure, which means that every aircraft above a certain altitude will be on standard barometric pressure, which means we're all flying at the same flight level. So you have standard and you have QNH. QNH is the altitude, the exact altitude over land. So when you're below 6,000 feet, you would normally say QNH, and that shows your altitude exactly over land, the surface of the ground, which is really what you need, especially when you're coming into land or departing. Yeah. Then once you get above a certain altitude, mostly in the UK, it's between 5,000 and 6,000 feet, 5,000 and 7,000 feet. Sorry. Where you might be in the UK, depends where you are in the UK. Then you go on to standard barometric pressure, and that puts every aircraft in the world flying at the same level or at the same flight level. I hope that explains it. There is something called QFE, which is used in for VFR pilots, and QFE is QFE is above sea level. It's the altitude above sea level. I got to remember now which one's which. Is QNH above sea level or QNH above surface level? QFE is sea level. Anyway, yeah, Russia uses QFE for sure, and in Russia they use meters rather than feet. So like we use feet. So flight level 260 is 26,000 feet, but in Russia they use meters. Terrible. In fact, when you think about it, I mean, here in the UK we use a mixture of feet and inches and meters, and kilometers and miles per hour, and pounds and ounces and kilos. We use a mixture of it all. Like the fuel in this aircraft is in kilos. Yeah. Which is a little bit weird. Yeah, you do have to convert it. But there's lots of conversion tools around, you know, and you can change your aircraft to read in meters or feet and inches. You can do that in your settings and what have you, but you know, there's conversion tables around all over the place. But even so, confusing enough. Right, let me go and get my dog in. So I'll go. I'll give you a view. Just while I go and get my dog. Right, I am back. Honestly, he would sit out there all day if he could, if I let him. He should stay in the garden, but it's getting a bit cold. The temperature has dropped outside, and yeah, a little bit chilly. Right, so yeah, I was thinking before I got distracted, I was talking about why I haven't flown the Airbus for so long, and that's because we're flying the Zero Mod. If you don't know what the Zero Mod is, it's a Boeing aircraft, 737-800, which is free and is absolutely incredible. everybody who flies it, who fly Boeing aircraft and fly it, they know that it is absolutely, truly amazing. And the developer, that, Zebo and a number of others, they're just so clever in what they're doing. And like I say, it's free. Even better. It really is. Absolutely the dogs. You don't know that expression? I'm sorry. But it is absolutely incredible. Right, let's have a look at our landing performance. I very rarely do this, but we're going into Glasgow, runway 23, wind is 190 at 17, not too bad, but we've got that gust. Outside temperature is 11, QNH is going to be 1003. Runway conditions are dry, anti-ice will be off. Landing config will be full, I think. Or can we go 3? We'll see what that gives us. Air conditioning on, pilot back, brake mode low, reverse on, compute. Nice. Don't need checklist. Back will be 154. Yeah. Landing required 1,419 meters, so I can land. Green dot, and I've got a margin of 548 meters. Plenty of space. Absolutely plenty of space. No need to worry about that at all. Let's have a look. Bear with me a second. Apologies. Going up to Nokin, Rival, Aslib, and then we'll be turning at Lanark. So I'll tell you what I'll do. If I can remember how to do this. I'm not going to activate, they want me to activate the approach phase now, so we'll do that now. Activate approach phase, confirm approach phase. To get back over here, don't I? So, what did we say? QNH is 1003. 1000. Oh gosh. 1003. Temperature will be 11 degrees. Wind is 190 at 17. I think that's about all I need to know at the moment. Config 3, but we need barrow. So I shall come over to charts. You can't see it. I'll pull this up here so you can see it. Just give me a second. Flight, PF charts. So let's pull this over here. Approach charts, ILS 2, 3. Precision will be straight in cat 50 feet. Standard. Cat 2 will go Cat 2 121. Yeah, I prefer that. Give myself a bit of a margin there. 120, 121 barrow. Okay, look at that. The flight plan. Everything's funky. Croft. Needs to be at 218. Not just yet. Craft 183. No, come on. I'm asleep. Off 235. Aslim 250. Lanark should be 7. Yeah. Right. And then what I wanted to do was flight about. It's 10-mile radius around Glasgow there. So I think. Right. Hope. That's good, yeah, we're slowly descending. I want to be 7,000 feet at Lanark. Alright. Whew. Right. Hope everything's okay and you understood what was going on there. What happens if you fly over... oh yeah, that was fly over the border into Russia. That was ages ago. Right, so if there's any other questions, let me know. And we'll sort that out. Right. So my dog is in. I'm in. I've got a can of Coca-Cola. And at the end of this flight, I might go to the chip shop and get myself a chicken fried rice. Sounds like a plan, doesn't it? Right, I'm just trying to think if I've got any news for you, other than what I've already showed you. Let's see, did X dispatch work? Checking for changes. My aircraft has disappeared now. Oh no, there we are. Now, if I click on it, now, so I don't understand this. Earlier on, I can get all sorts of data. I wonder if it's because fetch latest. Okay, import from SimBrief. Yeah, import flight plan. Ah, there we go. There we go. You see, so it shows my flight plan now. And if I zoom in, I love this relief here of the hills and mountains. We're going through the kind of, this is the Pennines here, and then we're coming into the Lake District and Cumbria and what have you. Right, so there's my aircraft information over here on the left hand side. Block fuel 6,000 kilograms. I'm going to land with 3,378 kilograms. It's quite a lot actually, but we'll cope. We'll cope with that. Otherwise, so just over lower Derwin, or I've just gone over lower Derwin. Cool. Let's have a zoom in. Let's zoom up to Glasgow here. Still got a ways to go. And have a look at the airport. There's the airport. Come on, zoom in. EGPF. Oh, there we are. There's the airport. Now, unfortunately, why has it not picked up the stands? If I could do that. Ah, there we are. It was just being a bit slow. Look at that. Brilliant. Well, I do like that. That was really good. Really, really good. So, we will be coming up here to Lanark, and then our approach takes us over here. We come off the hills here at something like 2,900 feet. Descending. I have to investigate that a bit further, but I do like it. I like it a lot. So, what are you all going to have for dinner this evening, guys? I know some of you are far, far, far away. Where was it again? Oh, excuse me. We've got Cypriot 77, he's in Cyprus. You know what, the one thing I miss, and I've never found a restaurant here in the UK that does it, and I'm sure there must be. I know there's Greek restaurants in Cardiff, but I really used to like moussaka. I loved moussaka. Thought it was fabulous. I could just eat some of that now. Cypriot 77, he's from Cyprus, and there was someone else. Where did he say he was from? I'll find it now. Where did he say he was from? Cyprus? Somebody from somewhere else. Belarus. Sarah Haverard Gaming was from Belarus. And Sarah dropped me a super chat. A couple of quid. Which is very nice. That'll go towards my chicken fried rice later. So we're just turning there. Bit of a sharp turn, that. Unusual for Airbus. They can turn on the sixpence, but that seems to be a bit of a sharp turn there. But yeah, we're on our way. Not 120 miles. We're still in this kind of slow descent here, which is okay by me. Okay, what's happening, Black Knight? It is. Well, crosswind 123, 23 knots. Oh God. Well, I'm pretty sure that the Airbus will manage it. We'll see. I tell you what I watched the other night. I watched Real Pilot 737, and he was flying the Airbus. He was flying the Airbus A340 in the other simulator. He was flying it in MSF 24. Where did he go? Where did he land? I can't remember where he landed now. But it, you know, he had a wonderful approach. He had a nice long approach. He said it was windy, but you should have seen his hand on the joystick. He was wiggling the joystick about all over the place, and I mean, his flight director was hardly moving, but he was wiggling his hand all over the place. Now, the Airbus, I mean, I flew this last night into Nice, and I did an RNAV approach onto 04. I had the wind coming off the sea from left to right, and when I came around the turn. It's a very short turn, left turn, onto final. So your base turn onto final, onto runway 04 is very short, and I drifted over a little bit to the right of the line, and I came back, and I was not fighting the stick at all. It was slow movements, just correctional movements. I got down on the runway, I'd hit the centre line. It was an absolutely wonderful landing, so smooth, it was unbelievable. And considering it was a long time, it's been a long time since I've flown Airbus, I was really pleased with myself. And I watched the playback several times, and it was really, really good. I was so pleased with myself. So Airbus, they're very stable aircraft, not forgetting, of course, the fly-by-wire. So, you know, wherever you point them, that's where they're going to go. This is one of the joys of flying Airbus. You know, you're not going to get in too much of a mess with them. Just checking my phone. Brilliant. I told my wife to send me a message as soon as she got to where she was going. She hasn't done. I said, as soon as you know what time it finishes, send me a text message. So I got to go and pick her up later on from the theatre. But not to worry. It'll be about 10 o'clock. It normally is. I will drive down. Got a bit of a crosswind here, as you can see, 44 knots, so let's have a look at that. Flying sideways, no doubt. Oh yes. Definitely flying sideways. So we've got anything like that. Oh no, it could be straight down the runway looking. See the wind there? But we're quite, you know, we're at what? 10,000 feet, flight level 100. I need to be turning my landing lights on soon, so let's get them on now. My speed, it should be around about 250. Yeah, there we go, 230, that'll do. Don't want to go daft, do we? But yeah, certainly flying sideways. Let's have a look at that again. We're in the lowlands now. See the hills there, the mist, absolute. I mean, I've got Orbex scenery over the UK, although for the rest of the world I'm using X-plane map enhancement. But in the UK I use Orbex, Great Britain, truer, north, south and mid. So I've got all three packages. Once again, Orbex asked me to review the packages when they first came out, a couple of years back now. In fact, it was 2019 when they first came out. They showed them, they demonstrated it at RAF Cosford Flight Simulator Show here in the UK, and that was in 2019, before COVID. It was the last flight sim show in the UK. We haven't had one since. And RAF Cosford was an incredible show. People did come from all over the world to that show, and there's actually a video on my channel of it because I recorded it. You see a little bit of snow on the hills here as we come into the lowlands of Scotland. unfortunately, we're not going as far north as Aviemore, so we won't see real snow. You never know, we might see a bit more as we get closer to Glasgow. But yeah, got a ways to go yet. So when we get to Lanark, I might make a course adjustment because the turn off Lanark can be quite short. So I might make an adjustment just to help me a little bit on that final approach. You'll see what I mean when we get there. I'll show you a little bit closer. In fact, I can pull up the charts. No, I don't want that. This. So there is the there's the ILS, but we want the star, which is that it? Right, that's it. Yeah, here we go. So there's my aircraft there, you can see it. And we come to Lanark here. Yeah, now, theoretically, you turn on a heading, can't remember, it comes up to here somewhere, and it gives you a really sharp turn onto runway 23. Yeah? So you come off Lanark there, and then it's up here from there to there, and it is really a sharp turn. You've got to be at 2,900 feet because you want to clear these hills here. So I tend to go out to about here, and I'll show you that as we get a little bit closer. Where am I? There we are. I'm on the star now. On the star now. We've gone past Rival, run our way to Aslib, Inipi, and so forth. I should have been at flight level 260 at Aslib, but you know, it takes to get down from flight level 200 to 7,000. You've got 23 miles to do it. Down at 7,000 now. I think I'd rather be, you know, at this altitude now, just stay here for a while. It's not doing me any harm, and I'm not going to get any trouble. For some reason, that's something I noticed yesterday as well. Oh, excuse me. Something I noticed yesterday was that in the MCDU, in the Airbus, it'll change altitudes for you on the flight plan. I mean, literally, your top of descent we'll say top of descent is 240, and so you'll see your TD at 240, and then the next waypoint it'll say you're supposed to be flight level 120, which is impossible, and then after that it'll go back up. And so sometimes I think the MCDU can mess up your flight levels on this approach, and I like to manage my altitudes and whatever. So you know, okay, I'm at 7,000 very early for Lanark, but that's all right. You know, I'm not burning loads of fuel. I don't mind. You know, I'm supposed to be at flight level 260. No, thank you. Literally, I'm coming up to that now. There. At Aslib. I'm supposed to be flight level 260 at Aslib. No. And get down to 7,000. No. Too scary. So, like I say, I prefer to manage it myself. Well, nobody said what they're having for tea or dinner tonight. You're a miserable lot. Well, I'm going to have chicken fried rice from my local Chinese takeaway. Very nice, thank you. I mean, my wife's gone to the theatre with her friend. They'll be eating in. They're going to Bill's restaurant this evening for food. Ah, there's a new update for X-Plane 12, 34 minutes ago. So I'll get that when we land. So if you've got X-Plane 12, there's a new update. 12.4.1 beta 2, and as always, betas, things could go wrong. This is a minor stability update aimed at reducing specific crashes. There you go. I can't remember the last time I had a crash in X-Plane. Crash to desktop. Spatchcock chicken. Sounds nice. Sounds nice. Tomorrow evening I'm having steak. I know that because I got my steak out of the freezer already. I'm just looking at something. But what are you having with your spatchcock chicken? And who's going to flatten it for you? Or are you flattening it yourself? You clever bugger. Yeah. Black Knight's having barbecued. Oh, tomorrow? No, it won't be barbecued. I'll I pan fry it. Pan fry it 3 minutes each side, and then whack it in the oven on a high heat. Then let it rest. I like my steaks medium rare. I used to eat rare. Used to eat them rare, but as I've gotten older, I find medium rare a bit more palatable. With a nice butter glaze, loads of butter over it, and when it's in the fry pan, get a nice sear on it, and then in the oven on a high heat. 10-15 minutes, and then just take it out, let it rest, because when it's resting it's still cooking, as we well know. Right, I'm just going to sort my desk out a moment here and move the throttle quadrant into position. If you haven't got a throttle quadrant, get one. Brilliant. I've got the Thrustmaster Airbus throttle quadrant, works perfectly. Brakes set, are they set? Brakes set to low. Sort out the spoiler for landing. Spoiler armed. Coming up towards Lanark, not far either to go. It's 60 miles. I should not have started that descent so early, but I got confused with all those 20 waypoints. But not to worry. So can I zoom out? No. You can see there. I make this bigger. I can't. No, I can't. Whoops. Oh yeah, there we go. So you see, I mean that's a 10-mile circle there. Theoretically, if I stay on course, I will turn before the 10 miles, so I have a 10-mile approach. Should be okay, actually. I remember when I first started flying on VATSIM, and I used to fly up to Glasgow, there was a controller up there whose name I've forgotten. Oh gosh, I should know his name. Anyway, there was a controller there, and he always used to put me a couple of degrees further to give me a longer approach in. And he did it with everybody. So rather than flying on that heading there from Lanark, he would give you another heading. It was only about 5 degrees extra, but it would give you a longer approach. And I've done that. I've always done that. But looking at that, and that is a 10-mile fix. That's a 10-mile radius. That turn, I would have plenty of time. So we'll see. We'll see, yeah? Get to Lanark and we'll see. See if we can get this aircraft down in one piece. Oh dear. One thing I will say about flight simulation is that that's exactly what it is. It's simulation, you know, and there's, you know, I've seen people really stress about their landings. They make a bad landing, or they come in too fast, too high, whatever, or they bounce down the runway. And okay, it can dent your confidence a little bit. But I've seen people do it on stream. I've seen people do some terrible things on stream. When I say terrible, you know, really bad flying. And there's a couple of famous ones. I'll never forget watching, it was a streamer called Bellends. His name was Malcolm. Sorry, not Malcolm, Matt. Matt Davis was his real name. Fortunately, he passed away very young age. I think he was 26, maybe 23. He was very young. He had some problems. He had some issues in his life, but he was a fantastic streamer, very good streamer. And one night, we was watching. There was a number of us watching his stream, and there was him and a number of friends. They were flying into Innsbruck, but they were doing the circle to land into Innsbruck. So that's the one where you go around. You come off Ratzenberg at 11,000 feet, descending, and you go parallel to the runway, and you turn over a church, and it brings you around onto runway 8, I think. Anyway, and it's a captain's only approach. You know, there's no ILS. It's visual, and Matt had landed, did a really nice landing, and you know, it was perfect landing, and he was watching his mate, and his mate was doing the same approach, and he was watching his mate and was streaming this, and you could see his mate flying, and he was coming parallel to the runway, and he was supposed to turn over the church, and he kept descending and disappeared, and next thing you saw him climbing out at a really high rate of knots, and he turned around and he tried to get on the runway. He didn't. He had to do a go around, and he came again, and the second time he managed it, but we all thought he crashed. And Matt Davis was just killing himself laughing on the stream. It was hilarious. It was so funny. So it happens to everybody. You know, it happens to everybody. It was happening to me. A few months ago, I was having terrible trouble landing. I think it was the Zebo mod. I was having real bad trouble landing it for some reason, and it was a simple mistake I was making. I can't even remember what it was now. It was something to do with flaps or something. A real simple mistake, and yeah, it was shocking. Yeah, what's this now? It's a barbecue. Black Knight has to be barbecue, otherwise it is a culinary crime. 3 minutes each side is alright, depending on thickness, needs to be seared on the outside and semi-rare on the inside. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Totally agree. Here we go then. So we're coming not far to go now. I should have stayed high, but like I say, I panicked about this when I see the flight plan and it's all gone skew with different altitudes. And it has been a long time since I've flown the Airbus. I can be forgiven. Okay, let's just have a look. The QNH is 1003. QNH 1003. There we go. When we pass Lanark, when we go past Lanark, we should start descending to 2,900. To make that turn. Get LS sorted out. That's what that arrow's there for. Telling me. Descend. Oh, there we go. 9 knots crosswind. Nothing. I can manage that. 1004. Ten miles to Lanark. What's the weather like? Let's have a look. Oh, lovely. You're going to have a nice evening. No rain for a change at Glasgow. That's when it's really bad. When you have rain. Thick cloud, you can't see. You just got to rely on your instruments. If you want to have a fun landing, right? If anybody's willing to try this, go to Chambray and try that one. That is fun. That can be a little bit stressful for anybody. How do we get the table back in now? There we go. Yeah, that can be really stressful. Chambray. Okay, Lanark. Hopefully, this aircraft will just go down. Come on, come on, come on. I want you to go down. Speed is dropping. There we go. And we are descending, I believe. No, not quite. Got to go over Lanark, haven't we? Once the aircraft goes over Lanark, will we descend? Do I need to give you a push? There's the vertical deviation mark. And are we descending? No. Now we are. In fact, there's the mark. When we hit that mark, that's when we'll descend. Yep. Speed, brake, load, speed, descent, nav. I hate Airbus at times. I much prefer to fly Boeing. No, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it, Black Knight. I'm going to let it do it. It will do it. I have faith. Here we come, here we come, here we go, here we go. Are you going to descend? There we go, descending. And I didn't touch anything. I'm going to turn slightly, heading 350. Just slightly, just to give me that little bit extra. Auto thrust, we were idle. We're in the descent profile. We're on the speed gate. I'm just going to add some flap. Yes, with that little bit there, so I can go to CF23. So CF? Yeah, CF23. Just to give me that little bit of extra distance. But like if I go like that now, doing H1003, we need to come down a little bit more. We're a little bit high. I'm going to hit my mark about there, where that is there, you see it? That is my 2,900 foot.
$2,500.
2,500. Is this going to be an auto land? No. Definitely not. We don't do
2,000.
2,900. That's where we need to stop at.
$2,000.
Lightly missed it. Not to worry. Landing gear down. Signs on. Oops, need to get the people in the seat, back into the seats. Signs on. Ding the cabin. Don't we want flaps full already? Well, we'll go flaps full. Alright. Get rid of that. Land the gear down, signs on, carrier and spoilers on, flaps full. glide slope. Wind is straight, more or less straight down the runway, but it's a bit spicy. Coming down, we're on the glide slope, on the localizer should I stay. Just wait for the diamond there to get on there. Come on. We're nearly there. And we'll be descending now, so let's just have a quick look outside. Gear down, lights on. Brakes low. Need
2,500.
2,500. QNH 1003. 9 knots from the left. Yep. I would really like to get rid of this cloud here. Oh, approach mode. There's the runway.
2,000.
Yeah. Plane's rocking about a little bit. Okay, feet on the pedals. $1,300. Not going to take over the aircraft yet. Get a little bit closer.
1,000.
1,000 feet to go. In these conditions, the further out you are, the more that you're likely to get knocked about. So 25 knots, we're pretty close to our limit. 23 knots from the left. We are close to our limit. I certainly wouldn't want to go any stronger in this wind. Autopilot disengaged my aircraft. Hand on the stick. Eyes on the lights.
500.
500 feet. Continuing.
$400.
400 feet. One white. That's okay. I can manage that.
300.
300 feet. Committed.
Glide slope.
Lost the galley line.
200.
Lost the
100
lights.
away.
Glide slope.
Lift the nose. Scale.
100.
100.
Minimum.
Glide slope.
Landing.
$50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10.
5.
stress. Get back onto the centre line. Could have gone off there, but we'll carry on. Not too shabby. Flaps up. There we are. 1 hour and 3 minutes. We'll add a further 3 minutes because I forgot to turn the clock on. 1 hour and 6 minutes. Cardiff to Glasgow. Not bad. Quite happy with that. Thanks for watching, those of you stuck around. All told, I started the stream 91 minutes ago, so just over an hour and a half, and at that point the engines were not started. So yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, bit of an undershoot, yeah, but yeah, I lost the sense, lost the glide slope a bit. But they landed. We'll go on stand 2-3 here. Virgin River. Straighten this up a bit. Take that apart. I thought I was going to take that apart then. I probably am. There we go. I'd say that wasn't too bad actually, considering I haven't flown an Airbus for ages. It's only my second flight in, well, possibly a year. Let's get up here. Turn on the APU. Just shut down. There we go. Job done. No, you don't need to apologise for anything. Right. Well, what time is it? Let's have a quick check on the time. Well, the time is, oh, it's later than I thought. 2 minutes past 7. So I shall go across to my Chinese takeaway now and get my food because I'm somewhat hungry. Get in there. As I was saying, if you haven't got a throttle quadrant, you can afford it. Get yourself one because they make all the difference. They really do. Right. He says struggling with mine at the moment. There we go. Okay, everybody. We'll see you soon. Hope you enjoyed the flight, and for those of you who missed it from the beginning, you can watch it later. All right. We'll see you soon. Cheerio.